Hello, book club. Happy Monday. Let's start off with our Monday morning check-in. Have you gotten your copy of our current book club book of the month, What's Not Said by Valerie Taylor? And if you have started reading along with us this month, how far have you gotten? In the description of this video below, I'll include all of the links where What's Not Said can be found. It was such an honor this past Wednesday to interview Valerie Taylor and chat about What's Not Said. Valerie, I had such a great time during our interview, and thank you so much for staying a little extra so that we could share this video today, reading an excerpt from your novel.
Hi, so I am Valerie Taylor, and I am going to read about 3 pages from What's Not Said, which is my debut novel, which was published last September. And it's a contemporary fiction, women's fiction, and it can be found, I like to say, wherever laugh out loud books are sold. So, and I'm only going to read just a few pages, but the intro to the book, I have a quote from Robert Louis Stevenson that says, "The cruelest lies are often told in silence." So that kind of mirrors the name of the book. And I wanted to mention that I have titled the chapters in a way that I hope provides like a roadmap through the book. There are serious aspects of the plot, but there are also humorous aspects. And so I'm hoping that by labeling and titling the chapters, it helps add some entertainment to the story. And just as I say I have titled the chapters, there is a Spotify playlist in the back of the book that if you choose to, you can listen to the playlist as you're reading the book, and that kind of added entertainment, you know. So anyway, so I'm going to start with chapter 1, To Own or Not to Own. Cassie prided herself on being a control freak, not the my way or the highway kind of bitch, rather the do the right things right stickler for details. After all, being a perfectionist flowed through her DNA. Indeed, Cassie didn't alphabetize her spice rack as her mother did, but once upon a time, as she prepared to leave for her freshman year in college, she counted the number of cotton balls she used in a week and then calculated a semester's worth. When she ran out 2 weeks before finals, she discovered her plan had one flaw: her roommate. Lesson learned. She hot-footed it to the nearest drugstore and gifted her roomie a package to call her own. Cassie would freely admit she also had a well-developed management gene. The best part of her day was when she planned the next. When the Franklin Covey store closed in Boston, she took it personally, swearing she'd never shop at that damn mall again. Oh, sure, she could order her supplies online, but the thrill of touching the freshly printed planners and sniffing the plush leather binders was stolen from her. How would she ever survive? A quick visit to the Kate Spade store took care of that near disaster. So imagine what was going on inside her highly compartmentalized mind when the day hadn't started quite the way she'd intended. She rationalized time was on her side. The hands on the oversized round clock hanging prominently on the hospital's waiting room wall read 4:17. Was it early morning, middle of the night? Didn't matter. Either way, like her cotton ball miscalculation, this trip to the ER was a minor speed bump. Her plan had arms and legs. The day's agenda was as simple as 1, 2, 3. Get to the Red Sox game at Fenway, celebrate afterward, tell her husband she filed for divorce. Piece of cake. All she needed to do was get Mike out of the hospital and back home so she could jumpstart the rest of her life. Leaving nothing to chance, 4 years ago, with the help of her lawyer, Cassie drafted longhand on a single sheet of yellow lined paper what she'd said to Mike and hid it in her black Kate Spade wallet along with a list of baby names on frayed blue and pink Post-it notes. She practiced a million times, role-played with her best friend Annie, recorded it on her iPhone, and recited it solo in front of her bathroom mirror. By now, she knew the simple words by heart. She was ready. Now it was up to him. Granted, the calendar on the wall behind the nurse's station in the ER lobby said it was Good Friday. Screw that. Come hell or high water, it would be Cassandra O'Callahan's Independence Day. It just had to be. She'd put it off long enough. Maybe there'd be no parades, no fireworks on the river, no Boston Pops at the Hatch Shell, but there'd be a declaration of freedom, her freedom. For more years than she was willing to admit, Cassie tried to convince herself that telling her husband she wanted a divorce shouldn't be so distressing. After all, she was a mature woman, a successful marketing executive in her own right. Throughout her career, she handled many thorny interactions, money-grubbing ad agencies, arrogant creative directors, egotistical copywriters. To her credit, she confronted every business challenge thrown at her and triumphed, most of the time anyway. Cassie's professional confident persona was merely that, a mask she perfected throughout 3 decades of climbing the corporate ladder with its discrimination and bosses who relished the bar, both drinking at it and moving it. This was contrary to her personal life, where she avoided conflict, especially when it came to Michael Ritchie. Ever since he was her Italian professor in college, she approached him with deference, expecting him to grade her every performance. And grade her he did, as a student, a lover, a wife. Sometimes I think you leave your brain at the office, was a Mikeism Cassie heard way too often. Would that be his reaction to her news? Would he take her seriously? Did couples who were married 3 decades, AKA forever, get divorced, or did they just suck it up and choose to live together separately? Had he been unfaithful? Sometimes she'd wished he had been. At least that would mean Mike was passionate about something, if not her. Would he be surprised? Or maybe he'd be relieved. It was no secret their relationship began deteriorating a few years after they married, after the miscarriage. Cassie spent much of the first half of their marriage trying to save it, and most of the second half trying to escape it.
Yes, I loved that. Thank you so much. I have to say, when you held up your book too, my first thought, did you have Post-its sticking out? Just
I do,
like
yeah.
Cassie with her lists and her notes.
Oh, yes.
In this excerpt, I really loved the way Cassie seems to be living many different lives through her notes and her lists and her organization, and then her actual reality. This concept reminds me a little bit of a meme that I've seen around the internet, where it says that a reader lives 1,000 lives when someone who doesn't read lives just one. I'm really intrigued with this concept of how Cassie's living her life in the beginning. I think this is going to be a wonderful roller coaster ride and a ton of fun, and I can't wait to read more. I think this concept of the book would make a great starting discussion topic in our book club group. I'd love to know, are you a list maker? I am a list maker. I Post-it notes scattered everywhere, lists. I totally am with Cassie on that part of her life. I can totally relate. So let me know if you're a list maker. I also think this would be fun as a writing prompt if you're an aspiring writer, or if you're a writer with a work in progress and you need to do a nice little exercise, maybe to get out of a writer's block, or just want to for fun. Why don't you take one of your main characters and make a list? What would your character make a list of? Leave some comments below, or also on our corresponding Facebook page. If you're not a member on our Facebook group yet, please go ahead and find the link in the description below. We'd love to have you. Let me know also in the discussions what else you picked up on in this reading that you would like to discuss, or maybe you have questions about. And please don't forget to like and subscribe while you're here. That little bell icon next to the subscribe button is also something you can click on if you would like notifications every time one of my videos post. I'm looking forward to seeing you each weekday on our Facebook group page and each Monday here for videos. Happy reading!